am Alethea Felton, and welcome to the Power Transformation Podcast. If you're struggling in your life with self-sabotaging and negative thoughts that leave you feeling stuck and limit you from moving forward, I can help you. As a holistic health and empowerment coach, I help people identify, challenge, and conquer those thoughts in order to make simple and practical changes to improve overall wellness. Let's remove those limitations, for the time is now to create your power transformation. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Power Transformation Podcast. I am so glad that you decided to join today. And we have a phenomenal episode today with an amazing guest. So look, before we even get into this interview, I need you to do something. Go ahead and share this with two people that you know. Spread the word, at least two. Of course, it can be more than two, but share it with two people that you know, because our guest today is a true testament of fortitude, resilience, grit, passion, faith, and so much more. As we always do here on the Power Transformation Podcast, we open with an affirmation. So I will say it once and then you repeat it. I have what it takes to do amazing things no matter what comes my way. Y'all, I am so excited today for this guest on the Power Transformation Podcast. We have none other than Marquis Ellison, who is a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. But y'all, something else about this amazing man is he is what I call, and we call in our community, a Crohn's warrior. I will take it even deeper than that. He's a Crohn's thriver. I like the word thrive. I say that I am thriving, and it is because he lives with Crohn's disease. We will learn more about that. And I have shared that too is something that I live with. I don't say that I'm battling it or fighting it. Everybody's different, but I live with it, and he does too. And he has such an inspirational story to share. So welcome, Marquis. Welcome.
Welcome. What's going on, y'all? Thank you. Appreciate you having me on this transformation podcast.
Yes, I am happy to have you here. I told him offline, y'all, that I had been watching his story for a while because we are connected through a specific group, and I'll give him a chance to explain that more. But I have been watching his posts for a while, and I said, this man knows what he's talking about when it came to fitness and health. And as you all know, that is a very similar journey to mine in terms of the health aspects. But what I'm trying to tell you, y'all, even if you don't live with Crohn's, I want you to really pay attention to his journey, because this man is just motivation wrapped up all in one. He is always saying something encouraging. So, Marquis, I am so glad you're here. And I always like to start with just a random question, okay?
All right.
My question for you today is, if you could go to any type of comedy show and see any comedian out there, who would you go and see and why? And this is the twist. I'm going to take it deeper. Dead or alive. So it's hypothetical. They don't have to be currently living. But a comedy show, your dream show, who?
Oh, man. Let's see. Comedian.
Mm-hmm.
If I had my choice, dead or alive. Oh, let's see. Well, Kevin Hart always. I saw Kevin Hart before he became Kevin Hart worldwide.
Wow.
Renowned Kevin Hart. Seen him at an improv back in West Palm Beach, Florida. And that was awesome. So Kevin Hart, hands down. He's always, I mean, he's just funny. He's one
So,
of my favorite.
I really appreciate you actually saying that because I've lost count the amount of times I've seen Kevin Hart live, and I had no idea that you liked him too. And there are people that I know who have said he's not funny and he's not this. I'm like, in my mind, and I'm just gonna say it, I'm like, y'all have some fun in life because he's funny. I don't care what anybody
He
says.
is
Kevin
funny.
Hart's funny.
He is funny. And then, he just has an awesome story, like a lot of comedians do from, trials to where they are. It's not that's not an easy job to come up in. Comedian is hard. Being a comedian is very hard. So, just to see his glow up, as they say these days, right?
Uh-huh.
To see his glow up to where he is now is just something just awesome to see.
That's
Just
right.
awesome to see.
And humor, I think, is important, especially for our journeys and the
For
things
real.
that we experience in life, even
Yeah.
living with Crohn's. Humor is so important. And
Yeah.
I'm convinced that humor and our mindset is what has kept us going this long and being as healthy, quote unquote, as we are. So now let me shift into this broad question. You can answer it any which way. Keep it brief because we are going to go more into it. But who is Marquis Ellison?
Who is Marquis Ellison? Man, that is an awesome, simple question, but a very profound question, right? And so, gotta ask, who is Marquis Ellison? First and foremost, Marquis Ellison is a child of the Most High, right? Right off back, that's who I am. I'm also a advocate, a husband, a father, and just a person who looks to inspire others to be the best version of themselves despite whatever circumstances they're going through. So in a nutshell, that's who I am.
I love that. I really, really do. And I heard you say a keyword, advocate. Tell us
Right.
more about that. What do you mean by advocate, and in what way are you an advocate?
Well, being a person that has Crohn's disease and has had Crohn's disease for almost 15 years now, that led to my advocacy in terms of health and wellness, right? So when it comes to advocacy, excuse me, in that respect, I advocate for us controlling what we can. I advocate for us making sure that we're really paying attention to what we're putting into our bodies. I advocate for us to make sure that we have a right mindset, kind of alter the way we view life circumstances and things that happens to us. So when they talk about advocating, I advocate for all of those things because all of those things collectively help us to have a better quality life when we're living with chronic conditions and circumstances that try to keep us down and suppress our humanity from living. So that's what I advocate for. When I talk about advocacy, that's what it combines.
Yes, indeed. And I love that. That's a great segue to it. So this is now what I want you to share.
Sure.
People are hearing this term or word, Crohn's disease. And
right.
I have not had an actual episode yet where I focus strictly on Crohn's. I had intended on having one earlier. Things kind of shifted and changed. And I think you are the perfect person to really start to share with the listeners what Crohn's disease is. Now, prior to you explaining that, what I will say, audience, and I've said this time and time again, Crohn's disease is considered an autoimmune illness. It's pretty much when the body fights itself. And there are lots of autoimmune illnesses from lupus, Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, so many more, MS. And I've had people up here who live with autoimmune illness. Marquis is the first one I'm having who lives like me with Crohn's disease. Now, he's going to explain it more in depth, but I know from me, Crohn's runs on my mom's side of the family with some male cousins, okay? And so in some cases, it's from family history, other cases not. If or when I have kids, it does not mean they will have Crohn's, because in some families, it pops up here and there. It's not every person, but it is not something that can be spread. You can't catch it or give it to someone else. So it's not like that. But what I love about having Marquis up here as a Black man is that part of a specific organization we are a part of that he will explain too deals a lot with the Black and brown populations living with this condition, because we are not really heard or seen as much in the medical environment. Now, I've lived with autoimmune illness since birth. So my story is a little different, where I've learned even as a kid and a teenager, et cetera, how to advocate, but a lot of people don't know. So I wanted to give that brief intro. Marquis, take it away. Tell us, what is Crohn's disease? And then segue into, what is your story with Crohn's?
Awesome. Absolutely. So let me take the first question. What is Crohn's disease? Crohn's disease is a part of IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. And collectively, that makes up, Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Now, Crohn's disease affects anywhere from the mouth to the anus. So it affects your whole GI tract. Although it's central to the small intestine, it can affect anywhere along that tract. Whereas ulcerative colitis is central to the large intestine, right? The large colon. That's what's affected. So that's one of the differences between ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, where Crohn's disease cover a more expansive part of our digestive tract, and UC is more centralized to the large intestine. So that's what, Crohn's disease is. So it can affect anywhere along that track. Second question, my journey with Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2009, exactly 1 year after my wife and I got married, right? So you talk about put through sickness and health vows, right, to the test. So that happened in 2009. Now, 2023, I've been diagnosed for 15 years. And going through the journey, was trying, but it was not unbearable, right? Because I had my faith to guide me. And so that was the cornerstone to me, prevailing pre-diagnosis. We're talking 2009. Before I was diagnosed in August of that year. So those, 7 months or 8 months of not knowing what was going on, it was my faith that really drove me, and having that support system around me, my wife, family, friends. Okay. And so that was a journey. Fast forward to 2023.
Let me pause you real quick, because inquiring minds want to know. I know, but inquiring minds may want to know. When you say that was your diagnosis, could you share? And listeners, I'm going to tell you, everything isn't pretty with Crohn's, right? But can you share what were some of your symptoms that even alarmed you to say something's going on?
Yeah, great question. So some of the symptoms that I was experiencing, right, before I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2009, were the symptoms that's associated, such as rapid weight loss, abdominal pain, right, the nausea, the fatigue. These are all things that I experienced. And it was not fun. During that process, before me getting diagnosed, I was dropping about 5-10 pounds every time I went to the doctor.
Wow.
Right. So I went from basically about $150, 150 to about 100 pounds soaking wet. 100. I may even got under 100 pounds briefly, but when I tell you it was 100, not joking. Okay. You can see every bone in my body. That's how bad it was. I didn't even have to bend over without you seeing the spine in my back. I'm just standing up right. And I say that because, when you bend over, your spine kind of pokes out a little bit out of your back. I didn't have to do it. I'm just standing up straight and you can see every bone in my body. Right. That's how thin I was. That's how much weight I had lost. And so those were some of the symptoms that I experienced, again, leading up to the diagnosis that year in 2009. And, it was, like I said, it was trying. It wasn't unbearable though, again, because I just, I had that source behind me. There were moments where, it was, I got down, I had my moments. Because it's natural, it's expected, right? You want to know what's going on with you, especially when you can't do things that you used to be able to do in that period of time, while you're going through those symptoms and things. And so there were moments where I was down and out. But I give myself well, before I get to that, one particular incident where I just kind of was just like, just really broke down crying. It was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Is when my wife, she had went to go get us something to eat from one of our favorite smoothie places. I won't want to say favorite smoothie place, but smoothie place that we really liked. And she had went to go get us for dinner a wrap and a smoothie combo. And I remember I got a chicken Caesar wrap and a smoothie. And I took a couple bites of that Caesar wrap, and that was it. Threw it all up.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. At that moment, what broke me down was my wife, seeing her clean up my throw up. I mean, like that just like broke my inside, man. And that was just like, at that point, I was like, oh my God, Lord, like this, I don't want to do this no more. All I want to do is be able to sit and have dinner with my wife, and I can't even do that. And she's cleaning up my throw up. And then, I'm feeling all kind of emotional because she's having to do this and clean up after me. But it was also in that moment that I realized the gem that I had, because through that process, she didn't belittle me. She didn't make me feel like, a child that had a mom taking care of him because he can't take care of himself in that moment. It was none of that, and that's why I was like, man, like, like she is ride or die, and she didn't belittle me in my moment of pain and weakness, right? And let me tell y'all, that is very important. That's very important when you're going through these chronic conditions, is having that support, right? Having that person, because sadly, there are people out there that leave their spouses when they're faced with chronic conditions. Whether it be Crohn's, whether it be breast cancer, whether it be, MS, all of the things out there. I've heard stories of people whose spouses leave them when they need them the most. And so it's not something I take lightly. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah. Wow. God bless her. God bless your wife. What a godly wife. And that is honorable.
Let me say this while it's on my spirit before we segue, because y'all listen, let me tell you, a lot of times what we go through is not even about us, right? Listen, it's about how we use what we go through, right, to help other people, to benefit other people. Sometimes you don't know the pain somebody's going through unless you've experienced pain yourself. Now, I say that to say this. When my wife turned 30, right, she got appendicitis. We were supposed to go skydiving, is what she was going to do for her 30th birthday. Her father had come down to do it with her. However, on his way down to Florida, we had to call and say, hey, she's in the hospital now because she had acute appendicitis. And let me tell you, what she went through reminded me of me in 2009 of what I was going through with my Crohn's diagnosis, right? She had weight loss. She had loss of appetite. She had all of these things as a result of the appendicitis that she had. She had her appendix removed, but during that process, they left an incision and it got infected.
Whoa.
And then that's what happened with the weight loss and these effects of that infection that started to take place. But because I had went through what I went through with Crohn's and had been in that space, and to really have the same connection with what she was feeling and what she was going through, it enabled me to be a better supporter for her and to be able to be that companion she needed, because I've been there. I understood what she was feeling. I understood what was going on inside. And so it enabled me. Had I not had Crohn's, had I not went through the journey I went through with Crohn's, of course I would have been a support system for her. But to have a direct connection with how she was feeling in that moment, I wouldn't be able to relate because I had never been there. And so that's why I say a lot of times what we go through isn't necessarily about us, but how we can be there for somebody else in the future or presently to inspire them to get through what they're going through.
Woo, Marquis. Oh my gosh. You got oh my goodness. That is loaded. That is so powerful. Man, you got me in here about to shout. Oh, Lord. I am so serious. I am not even exaggerating with it. I think everything you said is so powerful. And my parents have been married 46 years, and I have seen the truth of the sickness and in health. That's a powerful piece. Is what are you going to do if something happens that's so, so detrimental? Are you going to stay or are you going to leave? What are you going to do? And to know that both you and your wife were there as supports. And I'm not married, but I am with a wonderful man, and it's fairly new. But one thing I really respect about him is early on in our talking stage, prior to us becoming a couple, he sincerely asked me off of the gate. He said, I know you talk a lot about having Crohn's and blah, 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 but he was so intentional into asking me what it was. And I have to admit, I was a little scared at first because years ago, years back, I did have someone that once I got diagnosed, it's no disrespect to him, but I found out later through his sister that he broke up with me because he couldn't handle what was happening with me. But so fast forward years later to this man, he was so intentional, and he made it clear to me, because I told him, I said, look, if it's too much to handle, we can stop now. We don't have to go on. And he stepped up and made it clear, like, no, it's nothing like that. I just want to be educated as to what I need to know and what I need to do if blah, blah, blah. And that meant the world to me. It really did, because he sincerely was asking just in terms of curiosity and wanting to know how to help if in the event something happens. It wasn't due to him being scared of it. And, that's just one example, but you're right. We're in these groups And it doesn't even have to be a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend situation. Sometimes other people's relatives and friends don't get it. And that's the one thing I can say I'm so blessed with, is that in my sickest moments, thank God I haven't had to have been hospitalized for going on 5 years now. And I've really been thriving since. But just to know that these conditions can scare people, and they aren't terminal illnesses. They really aren't. We can live with them and control them and manage them. And I want to thank you sincerely for sharing that story about your wife, because hopefully somebody listening can be encouraged, because they might not have the support systems that we have, but it can give them hope to say, you know what? Maybe I can one day, or to know there is a community. And that's a shift I want to make. Could you, and we're definitely going to get into how you did fitness training and all of this, but talking about community and the importance of it. This is where you and I met. Could you explain to them about one area or the group we are a part of that really emphasizes community and advocacy, and how you got involved in that?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I actually have a great part for that too, for you with your boyfriend. So we're a part of Color of Crohn's and Chronic Illness, also known as COCHI, but 2024, we would be known as COGI, Color of Gastrointestinal Illness, because now we're covering the whole gastro space, right? And COCHI, as it is right now, is an organization for BIPOC that advocates, for people of color with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. And we have all kind of resources. We have all kind of programs that's available that we do. And it's just a great organization. It's not an organization, it's family, right?
Yes.
It's family.
You're right.
We're a family. I mean, it's just, oh man, it's something that I wish was around when I was diagnosed, because, we just don't see that many of us with IBD, right? And so that's where COCHI came, because it really filled a void that was missing in this community. And we have done so many wonderful things since our inception 3 years ago. And I am a lead ambassador for COCHI, right? So I've been with COCHI since the beginning of our inception 3 years ago. And I'm also the host of The Huddle, which is a safe space for men to come together once a month with myself and Dr. Hugo, who's one of our GI doctor partners, a black GI doctor. Together, we do The Huddle. And it's a monthly segment. We meet for about an hour and we just talk. It's for men with IBD. It's for patient advocates. It's for caregivers, right? So we have husbands in there whose wives have UC or have Crohn's disease that come in, and they're a part of the group. And so that's something that I really love that we do, and have that for men especially, because as men, we don't like to talk about these things, right? And there's this facade out there that men aren't supposed to be emotional, right? You're not supposed to talk about these things. But that's the danger in that, because the more you keep that stuff bottled inside based off of some crazy societal norms for men, that if you show emotions, you're weak, then all of that, these things that you have bottled up inside is going to come out.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out in ways that it shouldn't have to come out if you speak about it and feel comfortable to open up and not be judged or have your quote unquote manhood challenged, because now you're being emotional or vulnerable. You know what I mean? And so The Huddle is none of that. We're open. You come in, we fellowship, We learn about IBD. We check in with each other, see how everything's going. And, it's an awesome space. I'm happy to sponsor that and lead that out every month. And so, Alethea, your boyfriend, there you go. Would love to have him join us for one of those discussions. Because it's open for all men. Like I said, you don't have to have IBD. You just can't, if you know somebody, if your girlfriend or, special, they have it, then come and join us. Right. That's so powerful. That's what coaching is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just some of the things that we offer.
And our founder is Melody Blackwell, an amazing person. And she
shout out Mel.
Yes. Shout out to Melody Blackwell, who is always on the go, always busy. And she's a wife and mom and everything. Mm-hmm. So she is just as busy as everybody else because
absolutely,
that's what's so beautiful about our community is that there are people like me who aren't married and are childless, but yet our lives are all so filled with stuff. And we do this because we want to help people, but also we're here to show you that despite what happens in your life, you can still live a really productive and active life. You really can. Right. You don't have to wallow in a corner and just give up hope about everything. You don't have to. Now, we've all had times where we have felt hopeless. I'm not trying to act like we haven't, but those of us who are really doing things either as entrepreneurs or even if not, people trying to make it day by day, whether you work from home, whether you're stay at home, it doesn't matter. The whole point is that as a collective, we are trying to show people that as long as we have breath in our lungs, we can make a difference in this life. As long as we wake up to see a new day, that means that our purpose and our journeys are not over and that you don't have to wallow in misery and suffering every day of your life. It's about your mindset. And with that, I want to ask you this. How in the world, Marquis, do you go from living with Crohn's to having a nerve to be a fitness trainer and nutrition coach? What in the world is that about? How did that
happen? Man, because, before I was diagnosed with Crohn's, I was semi-active. I exercise. I was that sporadic person, exercise whenever I felt like it. It wasn't really no routine or structure. Just kind of when I get to it. If I don't, whatever, the day goes on. However, once I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, is when I really was like, you know what? All right. You got it. Now what? Right? That's how I looked at it. It was like, okay, you got it. Now what? What are you going to do? I say, well, I'm going to control what I can't control. Right. And so now is when I really got into taking care of my body, really committing to exercising 3 times a week, really started to take a liking into what I was feeling in my body. And that's how that came to, that came to play. And I just always had that mindset that, you have to control the controllable, right? And that comes down to exercise, nutrition, and mindset. And it really is one of the best medicines out there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For no matter what you have, exercise, nutrition, and mindset are always going to be the top things that help you get through it. Now, that's a whole part of my treatment, right? It's a whole part of my treatment plan. Medication, exercise, nutrition, mindset. If you take a circle and you cut it into 4 parts, 25% mindset, 25% nutrition, 25% exercise, 25% medication. It's a complete, right? And together, it helps with the way I handle Crohn's and just the way that I am, man. But exercising is so important beyond the the physical benefits, the aesthetics that come with it, it's good mentally, man. It clears your mind. Like whenever I'm in a flare up, I exercise still, but I'll do lighter reps. I mean, lighter weight, fewer reps because I have to keep my body moving.
Yeah.
Or I'll sleep in because I'm an early morning person. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. I'm up at 4:30 every morning, right? So for my 5 a.m. workout, if I'm really feeling bad, I'll sleep in. I'll give my body that rest, and then I won't exercise until like 5 o'clock at night, right? So it's all about listening to your body and do what you can do, whether it's yoga, walking, okay? And by all means, okay, I'm not saying y'all just go and be reckless. Don't listen to my body. Coach Keisha just saying, go out here. I don't have no energy, but he telling me to still go out here and run. No. That's not what I'm saying, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Because I think sometimes people be like, man, Keisha is crazy. Like he telling us no exercise when he ain't feeling good. No, I ain't got time for that. No, that's not what I'm saying. Listen, so they made that clear. Rest your body, definitely, okay? But then once you're rested, then start to incorporate moderate movement like that, okay? And so that's what I'm saying. And it does your body good. It just clear your mental. So like when I exercise, it helps me mentally. What gets me is staying in bed. Yeah. Like that just mentally breaks me down.
I cannot do that all day. No.
It gets to me. And this goes back to my diagnosis in 2009. Like I got sicker from being in the bed while I was sick, right? Because I had those times. My wife would go to work, leave 8 o'clock in the morning, come back 5 o'clock, 5:30 at night. I'm still in the bed. That's what I did all day because I couldn't do anything else. I just wanted to lay, no energy, and that's what I did. But after a while, I had to say, you know what, bro? You got to get up, man. Like you have to get up. Get up. Go outside, right? So I would go out, stand on the patio just to get some fresh air, just to get my body up moving. And then I might go lay back down. But guess what? I got up. And that's progress.
That's right.
Even though I laid back down, but I did get up. And then that was the routine. Get up, go out for a little bit, lay down. Then my body started getting back into the groove of moving again. You know what I mean? And that's how I managed that in my sickness with moving my body because I had to get out that bed because it was killing me. You know what I mean? It was killing me. But I just went outside. And that's what I'm saying. Those are the little things. And that's why, exercise is important, right? And that brings me to another point. The one thing I challenge is all the time, whether you have IBD or whether you live with any chronic condition in general, okay, is if you're not in the flare, you don't have any symptoms, you're good, life is good, you can live life like you normally do, what are you doing?
That's right.
Like, what are you doing? Okay, I don't have no flare, so I'm out here living life. I'm out here drinking anything I want. I'm having all the hooker that's out there, right? Hookah, whatever they call that stuff these days.
Hookah, yeah. Hookah, yeah. Right? Smoking the hookah, yeah. I mean? Yes.
You're eating any and everything. Like, what are you doing? You exercising? Probably not, And you're so right. That's what my challenge is. It's like, it's not, okay, I get if you're in a flare, like I said, rest, do moderate movement once your body is healed. But what are you doing when you don't have a flare?
Also,
and 90%.
Briefly, I don't mean to cut you off, but just for a clarity audience, a flare is for a person with autoimmune illness. A flare is when your symptoms are very active and you're going through a stage of sickness. Okay, continue.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay.
No, that was good clarification about what a flare up what it entails.
Yeah.
And so that's just like always my challenge. Like, what are we doing? And 9 out of 10, I always know what the response is going to be. It's no, because the general fact is that Americans in general, whether you have IBD or not, or you don't have any chronic condition, don't move like we should. That's just a general fact. You know what I mean? It's a hard reality. Nobody likes to hear that. But if you really sit down and analyze yourself, ask yourself, how many times do you move a day? How many times do you exercise a week? And it's like, when I have time. And that's the thing.
Right.
Like, I don't have time is always the general thing is where I don't do it. But guys, listen, you're never going to have time. You make time.
Mm-hmm.
You make time. You have to schedule time. So this time, I don't have time, is always just something that gets my skin crawling and my adrenaline going. Like, because there's never going to be a right time. You have to schedule time. And I always say, just like your bosses schedule your hours, you're there. You got to set schedule. You got to schedule time for yourself.
Sure do.
And speaking, most of us, it's going to come early in the morning or it's going to come at night after work, right? Those are those hours that you have to work with for people that's extremely busy and have a lot of obligations, right? And so you got to get up early in the morning. You got to get it in late at night. And the thing is, it doesn't take an hour, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's a love and hip hop show, right?
Yeah.
That goes 30 minutes. Okay. Right. So you don't have no time, but you got time to sit there and watch love and hip hop and scroll on Instagram for 20 minutes. That's your time, So, but yeah.
You stepping on toes with folks because it's the truth. Because, I like to walk and run. Prior to the pandemic, I was lifting heavily in the gym, and I'm going to get back into that. But, I used to lift all the time, but that's the whole thing, is that you got to make time. And once you exercise, you just feel good. It feels really good. And you think better, you sleep better at night. And that is what, so I love the fact that you took your journey and transitioned it so that you could help other people. I want to ask you this as our time comes to a close. We have about another 20 minutes or so, but I want to ask you this question is,
sure,
how do you keep going? How do you not say, this is absolutely terrible. I hate the fact I have Crohn's. I don't know why this has happened to me. How do you keep going? And I ask that because there may be somebody listening now, it might not even be Crohn's, but they could be going through something really challenging and saying, I hear him, that sounds great. He's doing all this, but my situation's different. I don't know if I can transform like him. So what is the secret for you?
So that's a great question. And while I would like to take all the credit and, all the joy and just say, yeah, it's me. This is just me. This is Marquis. This is who I am, right? I just got that mindset. No, I attribute all to my faith. Right? It's not me, okay? But it's him living in me, because when I tell y'all, my faith is the cornerstone of who I am, and it's the driver behind everything. So the outlook that I have with this is nothing but my walk with the Most High, right? And just understanding that as a believer, this body is temporary, right? And it doesn't matter what happens to this earthly body, because healing is coming. Healing is coming. And listen, man, I'm telling I get so passionate about this thing because I've seen him work in my life, even with Crohn's, right? And this is why I have faith to keep going. When it came down to the diagnosis, the doctor that made the diagnosis was the only doctor. Hear what I'm saying? The only doctor in the area where we were living in Florida to perform the test I needed to make the diagnosis.
Ow.
Which was a capsule endoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
And the representative that did the capsule endoscopy covered that whole region. And he told us, like, this doctor is the only one that does this. I would have had to go, counties and counties away. That right there was nothing but an act of God, right? Like, clear as day, working for me. Like, at the time I met Dr. Wynn, which was my doctor that made the diagnosis, y'all, I was gone. I met him that week. I was in a hospital for the week. I had to have 2 blood transfusions. I had to have a couple colonoscopies again. I was so far gone. Had I not met Dr. Wynn when I did, ain't no telling if I would be here today. I don't know what my story would be today. That's how far gone I was. And at that time, he was the only doctor to perform the test that I needed. Nothing but an act of God. It wasn't chance. It wasn't the stars aligning. It was God. That's who it was. And so that gives me the faith to keep going despite my condition, because it doesn't matter what happens to this earthly body, because healing is coming.
That's right.
Right? Healing is coming. If he wants to heal me completely right now, he can. However, healing is coming in the new life, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this current life, if he wants to, he can. If he doesn't want to in this current life, that's okay. I tell him, right, Lord, hey, if you want to heal me, by all means do. But if you don't, let me use this to be a vessel for you, so that other people can have faith, but not because of me, but because of who you are. And you're working in me, to show that. Because, scripture tells us that, especially for believers, that we're going to encounter trials and tribulations in this life. So, but be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world.
That's right.
That's the scripture that always sticks in my head. And then another scripture where I believe it was not David or Paul or Peter, who was wrestling with the thorn.
Paul.
And he prayed a couple times, or he pleaded with God to take it away.
Paul had it, yeah.
Paul.
The thorn in his flesh.
The thorn in his flesh. He pleaded, Lord, take this away. But he did it, because that was the scripture said, when we're weak, he is strong, right? And so these scriptures help me to get through and know that, hey, listen, hard times are promised, y'all. It's not, there's this misconception that once you become a person of faith, right, that your life is going to be breezy and I'm saved now, I'm a follower of Christ, life is good. No, scripture tells you you're going to have trials and tribulations, so expect it. But know who the source is, and he will get you through. So like that's the mindset. So having this outlook and understanding that this is my temporary home and that healing is coming, I'm able to navigate having this chronic condition differently and use it, see the beauty in the pain, because it will inspire other people, right? Now, could he use me in another way without me having Crohn's disease? Absolutely. But this is what he chose. This is the circumstance that I was dealt, and I accept it, and I run with it in hopes of inspiring other people and letting them know the hope that I have, which is in him. It's not of myself, right? So this is the source behind the mindset of Coach Keith.
Yes.
And why I am the way that I am.
Yes.
It's all him. It's not me.
I so appreciate that. And listeners, I just want you to just take in everything that he said. And I know that I have a diverse listening audience. And I appreciate even those of you that I know of who are not followers of Christ, but can still listen and receive what is being said. And I can't make anybody believe a certain way, but what I can say, I am not ashamed of, and people know that I am a believer and I follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. That's just a given of who I am. And I believe in his divine nature and all of that. But what I can say is that I personally don't know how I would have made it this far without faith, without my belief. And then there's certain experiences I've had that I won't share here, but I'm even grappling now with the podcast invitation that I've been given to speak on some personal experiences I've had that are quite supernatural experiences. And I'm praying about that on someone else's platform that they really want me to share some experiences I've had that are otherworldly, so to speak, that not even all Christians or people in general get. So in addition to having the word of God, I've had other experiences where I've literally seen certain realms and have been places at my most critical times in the past where some doctors said I shouldn't have lived to see 30, and I'm 42 and I'm doing very well. And Marquis, I'm just telling you, Coach Keys, that everything you said, it is my sincere hope that yes, this podcast, I want people to be able to apply techniques, but this podcast, I want it to be able to honor God as well and show how even a person who thinks that their life isn't worth living, that there is something, I didn't expect to get emotional, but that there is something worth living for.
Yeah.
And that everybody is created in God's image. And if people just knew the beauty and the worth, and that's what this world needs now in 2023. So many people are so hopeless, and just want to give up because of how this world is. But if they could just hold on for even another hour, or hold on for another day. If you can't take a full hour, take it in increments. Look at the clock every 20 minutes and just hold on to just know that things and circumstances do change. They might not be perfect. But if you can find something in a day to be hopeful about, it can change your entire life. And I thank you for giving us that hope and for letting people know that faith is such an important piece. And that's what I want this podcast to be able to do. In your story, I just hope and pray that somebody listening somewhere in our country and in our world can just say, you know what? I can still face another day and I can make the best out of my circumstance despite what's going on. Because life ain't easy. But we can lift the load by just giving it over to God and just trusting the process. And there's so much misguided anger at God. Like, if God were so loving, why would God allow this? And that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing.
A whole other thing. But I implore somebody listening, please, please, please do your best to not let your anger be guided toward God, to not let your earthly mind cloud you into thinking that God is a fairy tale, because God's not. God is real.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so, thank you so much for that. Before we close out, and I'm going to give you some closing words. Sure. I know that you said that you were in Florida, but what I want to do now is have you to share how people can connect with you. Then I'm going to give you a chance to just give any closing words or thoughts or inspiration that you want to, I definitely really think I'm going to have you on in the future again as a guest, because there's so much more we can actually talk about.
Yeah, yes,
But
absolutely. I'd
how
be
can
honored.
people connect with you, Marquis, if they want to learn more about your coaching, where you're located, or just your platform in general? How can people connect?
Yes, so you can catch me on Instagram, right, at Coach Keys _09, and on Facebook, Marquise. You can look me up there and you'll find me. Those are the two platforms I'm most active on. I don't do X. Well, yeah, Twitter. I'll say Twitter is now
Yeah,
X.
X. Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't, yeah, I don't do threads. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm not, no TikTok. So sorry, y'all. You ain't gonna find me on those places. So
I
basically
understand.
Instagram.
And I will also, I will put his contact information in the show notes for Instagram as well as Facebook, so that you can click under the show notes as well and get directly to his pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll put that in. Um, do you have any
Yeah.
closing thoughts or words that you want to say to the audience, or in general about Crohn's, your own journey, anything you want to share?
I do. I do. And first I just want to say, Alethea, thank you so much for this, for your platform. Thank you for
Mm.
the transparency podcast, transformation podcast,
Mhm.
sorry,
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
allows us to, to just be open and be who we are in the goals and hope of transformation. So I just want to say thank you for that, for having this outlet and for having me on as a guest. And in closing, I just want to say, you know, to anybody out there listening, to all the listeners out there, uh, you are loved. Okay. You are loved. And the beautiful thing about God's love is it's unconditional. So whether you receive it or not, you're still loved. And I want you to just let that sit in. Okay. He loves you regardless of if we love him back or not. It's not that kind of love. It's a conditional love. And you have purpose. All right. Life throws us lemons and we make lemonade, right? And you have to find your why. That's something that we all universally can connect with, right? You have to find your why, because your why is what's going to propel you to do what you do and keep you going when you feel like giving up. There's always something bigger than us, right? Family, kids, a loved one. You have to find your why. It's so important. That's the driving force behind uh keep going. Okay. So you got to find your why. And that will help you to push past those moments where you feel like giving up. And just remember, y'all, you're loved, man. You are so loved and you have meaning. Your life has meaning. We all have a story. We all have a journey. And what you're going through in life right now is setting you up to be a testimony for somebody else. Okay. It's not just me. It's all of us out here. And there's no thing too big or too small that we're going through that God can't use to help somebody else. All right. So whatever you're going through right now, just remember there's beauty. There's a you can find a purpose behind what we're going through, right? And use it to inspire somebody else and bring somebody else up, because we're all one big human family. We're all one big human family, and we got to treat each other kindly and lift each other up as such. You guys have a great day. I'm
Yes.
Coach Keys. Thank you.
Yes. Coach Keys. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And Also, you all, I'm going to put in the show notes also where you can learn more about Coachy, the organization that Coach Keese and I are a part of. And again, I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for being a part of this Power Transformation podcast community and family. And people, please, whatever you do, share this message with as many people as you can. This message needs to go out, subscribe, rate, do whatever you got to do to keep this community going and really let people know about Coach Keese and his message as well. Thank you, Marquis. I'm so grateful to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
I am so grateful for Marquis, Coach Keese, whatever you call him, Coach Keese, Marquis. I am just grateful for him for sharing such a powerful journey. And as he stated, y'all, oh my goodness, no matter what comes your way, keep going, keep thriving, keep being, know that you matter and you have purpose. And I definitely, again, I encourage you, please share this episode with, I said earlier, 2 people, as many people as you know, and subscribe to the Power Transformation podcast, because this podcast intention is to continue to change lives for the better. So thank you again to Marquis. I'm going to close with our affirmation. I'll say it once and you repeat it, and join us again every Wednesday for a new episode of the Power Transformation Podcast. Here is the affirmation. I have what it takes to do amazing things, no matter what comes my way. If you enjoyed today's show, then you don't want to miss an episode. So follow the Power Transformation Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you usually listen, and remember to rate and review. I also invite you to connect with me on social media at Alethea Felton. That's at ALETHEAFELTON. Until next time, remember to be good to yourself and to others.